Hey guys, TrainerDC here, coming at you with another video. I just finished watching the Pokemon Day presentation for 2026 and wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the Pokemon Winds and Waves reveal, our first look at Generation 10. The trailer started out in a very similar way to the trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in terms of gameplay footage, essentially shots at the new region, which at this point in time remains nameless. Unfortunately, we did not get a region map or a name for this new Pokemon region, but we did get a look at some different environments and whatnot within this region, and from what I've seen thus far, I do like what I'm seeing of this Pokemon region. It's a very tropical island environment, which is great to see. We knew all this already from the leaks. Visually, I think this game looks pretty good. I'm sure people are going to criticize it because it's a Pokemon game, and visually they're not the most, grandiose compared to other franchises, but from what I've seen, I like of it thus far. It shows a bunch of wild Pokemon interacting with these environments, and the first thing I noticed is that the Pikachu that they show in the trailer is not using the brand new model that we saw from the Terra leak. So that just goes to show you, just because we saw something in the Terra leak doesn't mean it's going to be in the final version of the game, and we can see another instance of something changing from the Terra leak from the starter Pokemon that were revealed in this trailer. The starter Pokemon, according to the Terra leak, were supposed to be caught in this big town, this big city. When they go wild and run around, we have to go catch each and every one of them, and from this trailer we can see that they are in a tropical landscape. They're in a sandy beach area as opposed to a metropolis city like was leaked in the initial Terra leak information that we got. So again, things are going to change from the Terra leak, but without further ado, I think we should get into just the starter Pokemon themselves and the information that we have on the website. So first and foremost, let's start out with the starter Pokemon because I think that's probably the most interesting piece of information we have from today's trailer. We have our three starters that you can see on screen. We have Brout, which is our grass type bird. It says this Pokemon runs about energetically while photosynthesizing using the leaves on its brow. It's lively, but it can also be a bit clumsy. Brout is strikingly similar to Rowlet in a way. I'm very surprised that we're getting another grass like bird in the same general shape as Rowlet. I will say, as I do for every single Pokemon Day presentation when we get new starters, I'm always not in love with the starters when I first see them. They always look like Fakemon to me. They don't look like Pokemon, but they've already started to grow on me, and I already do have my favorite one out of the bunch. But that is our grass starter in Brout, the Bean Chick Pokemon. We then have Pombon, our fire type starter, which is the puppy Pokemon. The area below its throat glows faintly from the heat generating organs within its lungs. This Pokemon is guileless and friendly, and Pombon is kind of, in my opinion, the most basic looking one here. It's just kind of a fire dog with his tongue sticking out. It is a bit of a odd looking starter Pokemon, I will say that, when you compare it to the other fire starters that we've had in the past. My friend said this to me. I talked to him briefly before recording this video. He said we have to wait and see what the final evolutions look like, but for now, for this starter, I think it's kind of boring and basic looking. By far my favorite of the bunch is Gekwa, the water starter. It's the water gecko Pokemon. This Pokemon launches springy balls of water from its tail. Gekwa is very intelligent and maneuvers shrewdly while putting on airs. The thing that confuses me about these starters, and Gekwa is included in this, like I said, I really like Gekwa. I think it's probably the strongest of the bunch, and we're getting like a gecko-like starter. But the thing that's really confusing to me is, again, when you look at these three starters, two of them are very similar to what we've gotten before in Gen 7 and in Gen 8. Brout is very similar to Rowlet of Gen 7, and Gekwa is very similar to Sobble from Gen 8. I mean, Gekwa and Sobble, yes, they look like very different Pokemon, but Gekwa is really giving me Inteleon vibes. Like, if you told me that Gekwa was the first stage of the Inteleon line, I would believe you. So I'm just kind of curious and am a bit surprised and questioning why two out of our three starter Pokemon are very similar to Pokemon that already exist within the Pokemon world, and not only that, but starters that already exist. Next up, I want to talk about the player characters. We have the same thing as in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where depending on the version of the game you're playing, you're going to get a slightly different looking version of the player character, one of which is more kind of cowboy land exploration themed, I would say, in Pokemon Winds, and then the ones in Pokemon Waves kind of remind me of like a surfer with the hat or a lifeguard or something like that. Overall, from the player character designs, I like them. I don't love how the male player character looks. I think his guy's outfit isn't that great. It's kind of basic looking, but the female character I think has the better outfit of the two. One thing that I haven't touched on yet for Pokemon Winds and Waves is the logo of the game's Winds and Waves. These are very different from the logos we've been showing off in recent videos from the leaks that we have. I don't love them per se. Maybe they'll grow on me over time, but I just kind of feel like they're just, I don't know, they're not my cup of tea. I'm not in love with the logo designs. Between the two of them, I'm leaning more towards Waves at this point in time. I always get both versions of every Pokemon game, but I always have one that's my main game. That's the game I play first and will have my, Pokemon and save data in. And so far, I'm leaning towards Waves because I'm always a water starter guy. I'm just a very aquatic person, I guess you could say. I enjoy going in the water and swimming and whatnot. I'm leaning toward Waves so far, and I like that logo better between the two of them, but obviously it's going to come down to the legendaries, the cover legends, which we got a little teaser of them towards the end of the video, I think, when they had like the storm clouds or the thunderstorm happening and it was all black. I think that was a hint towards the legendaries. As we know, they're going to be hidden behind Storm Cloud Islands, so that's something to keep an eye on there. The last concrete information we have, or one of the last pieces of concrete information I should say, is in the beginning of the trailer there was these two special Pikachus wearing wind gear and wave gear, I guess you could say, or just wearing, beach island themed clothing. And apparently these weren't just a cute little aspect of the trailer. Apparently these are actually going to be brand new versions of Pikachu in the game. It says we're going to have a special Pikachu make their debut. It says the latest video featured the appearance of some Pikachu with a brand new look. Just how could these Pikachu be involved in your adventure? Look forward to future announcements. And apparently the one with the wind style hat is called Mr. Windy Chew, and the one that's more looking like the player character from Waves is called Miss Wavy Chew. I don't know. I think this is a little bit goofy, to be honest. I'm not exactly in love with this. It's just kind of like a tanned Pikachu, a sun-tanned Pikachu that's on vacation in this island. Maybe, I know they said from the leaks that we're going to be visiting this region with our mother who we're on vacation with. Maybe this is our mother's Pikachu or our family's Pikachu that come with us on vacation, and they're going to join us within the journey of this game. And kind of like how we had in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you had your partner Eevee or partner Pikachu that would come with you, but you didn't exactly, there wasn't much to them outside of them being this exclusive Pikachu and Eevee that you get at the start of your adventure. But that's what I'm thinking here with these two. Maybe we could use them in battle, possibly, but I think they're just going to be our companion Pokemon that joins us on this journey. The last piece of information we have here for Pokemon Wind and Waves, which is the elephant in the room here, is the release date. I was stunned when they said 2027. I'm not going to lie. This is a game that I think everyone was expecting for 2026. I was initially expecting this game to come out in 2025, quite frankly, and the fact that it's not coming until 2026 is rather shocking and extremely disappointing to me to be seeing. A couple things here regarding this. Number one, it makes me question why exactly we got Mega Dimensions DLC last year in December. If this isn't coming out till 2027, why not release Mega Dimension in like March or April? Because now we're going to have this huge window of no Pokemon game again this year in 2026, which is again rather unfortunate. Another gap year. Why not have an Ilka game to fill the gaps? Again, I don't understand why we're doing gap years when you have a second company making Pokemon games in Ilka Pokemon Works. Just make another BDSP stylized remake, but that's neither here nor there. I guess you have Fire Red and Leaf Green to hold you over. The other thing as well is, when exactly is this going to come out in 2027? So I initially, when I saw this, was like, oh boy, this is going to be our holiday 2027 title. But then I briefly spoke to my friend Dom, who's going to be on the live stream later today, and he said he's expecting this to come out at some point in the early parts of 2027, in maybe January, February, or March. I could potentially see that happening. Here's the thing with this. That's what I said for Pokemon Legends EA. I said when Pokemon Legends EA was revealed on Pokemon Day in 2024, I said no shot this isn't coming out in January or February, and then we're going to get Gen 10 in the fall of 2025. Obviously that didn't happen. We got ZA in the fall of 2025. The difference here, I will say though, between the ZA reveal and the Winds and Waves reveal is Winds and Waves actually has, gameplay footage to go along with it during this initial reveal, as well as, starter Pokemon being revealed to it. So this is potentially farther along in development than ZA was when we got our first look at it. So I would say because of that, I am leaning towards this coming in the early parts of next year. At the absolute latest, I would say April or May, but it's still rather surprising to me to be seeing that Pokemon Winds and Waves are coming in 2027. Like, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much it from the Pokemon Winds and Waves initial reveal trailer. We got our first look at some gameplay footage for Pokemon Winds and Waves. We got our first look at the player character character, the logos, and our starter Pokemon with a release date of 2027. Overall, I think it was kind of for me, a little disappointing because I, number one, thought this game was coming in 2026. I think everyone did. And number two, I was really hoping to get a name for the region, maybe a region map, maybe the first look at our legendary Pokemon, but they only showed us the starters and a little bit of a glimpse of the region itself, which overall, I feel like for me personally, I always go into this with too high expectations for what they're going to show, and they always show to me what is the bare minimum for them to show, which that's just my opinion on the matter. You guys might be perfectly fine with this announcement and more than happy with it, but I was just hoping for a little bit more here from Pokemon Winds and Waves first look. But hopefully we don't have to wait too long to see our next trailer for this game. The next trailer most definitely is going to show us the region itself, like the map, the name of it, and we're definitely going to be getting our first look at the legendary Pokemon for the cover. I hope we don't have to wait too long. Typically it's May or June from initial reveal, but given that this is coming out in 2027, we might be looking at July or August before we get another look at Pokemon Winds and Waves, which I really hope we don't have to wait that long. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the fact that Pokemon Winds and Waves isn't coming until 2027? What do you think of the starter Pokemon for Winds and Waves? Do you like Brout, Pombon, and Gekwa, or do you not like these starter Pokemon? Let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from Trainer DC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.